Are there any nominations for Chair Pro Tem? All right, hearing none. If there are no objections, Director O'Halloran is hereby elected temporary presiding officer by unanimous consent. Director O'Halloran, it's all yours.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just trying to turn to the page in the script. Okay. The next order of business is the election of a president to serve for the ensuing year. We will conduct the election by roll call. For all our appointments in this evening, the chair will call for nominations. Members may also nominate themselves. The chair will then close nominations, after which the secretary will call on each member in the order nominated to give each nominee a chance to make a brief statement as to why you would like to be chosen. Are there any nominations for president of the board? Director Simpson.
I'd like to nominate Director Zombor as president of the board.
Okay. Director Zombor, would you like to serve and make a statement?
Before we make statements, we'll take all nominations and then go from there.
Director Zombor, do you accept the nomination?
The nomination.
Okay. Are there other nominations?
I wish to nominate
Nope.
Director Ferguson.
Okay. Okay. Director Ferguson, would you like to accept the nomination?
Yes.
Okay. Are there other nominations? See none. All right. And so, forgive me, this is a new process, so we are going to call on each member in the order nominated to give each nominee a chance to make a brief statement. So, first, I will call on Director Zombor.
Thank you, Chair O'Halloran. It is with a deep commitment to Milwaukee Public School students, families, education workers, and the defense of public education that I'm putting myself forward to be considered the next board president of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors. It's no secret that the role of a school board member, whether it's the largest school district in the state or the smallest, has become increasingly difficult. And with massive federal funding cuts being proposed, it's only going to get worse.
Please hold the floor. Please respect the process. People asked to have speeches, and we are honoring that request. As we stated at the beginning of the meeting, anyone who continues to disrupt the meeting will be removed from the meeting and can listen in to the meeting online. If we can't get it together, we'll call another recess, and we'll be here until 10 o'clock. Is that what people would like? Enough.
Point of order.
Audience members who are being disruptive will be asked to leave. If we are unable to conduct business due to the continued disruption, I will call a 5-minute recess and ask the safety assistants to remove individuals continuing to disrupt the meeting. Are we clear? Director Zombor, please continue your remarks.
Thank you, Chair O'Halloran. There is a destroy public education movement, and it is well funded, especially in Milwaukee. They spend millions of dollars every year to manipulate the narrative around our schools. They are masters of chaos, and they work in overtime to sow distrust and disrupt the democratic process. They believe that schools should be run like unaccountable businesses instead of greenhouses of democracy. For years, the public education disruptors have passed laws that attempt to undermine community control of Milwaukee Public Schools. They don't want us to control how we keep our students safe, what curriculum we use, who we sell our buildings to, and who should be on our school board. They villainize teachers. They try to elect school board members who will be beholden to them and business interests and work to tear down the district and create division instead of building it up. When the community rejects their candidates, the disruptors lobby to take away the community's democratically elected school board, and time again, Milwaukee has said no. Our students' education will not be their business opportunity. I'm a product of public schools, I'm an MPS mother, and I have committed my entire adult life to defending MPS students and fighting the public education disruptors, and that's not going to change. Part of that work is helping MPS improve and be the best it can be with the limited resources we're given, and I have the receipts to prove it. In my 2 years on the board, I've led the board in efforts to sunset harmful school location practices with independently operated charter schools. I co-sponsored a resolution urging the state legislature to reconsider parts of Act 20 that negatively impact English learners. I helped the board uncover and eliminate wasteful contracts like the Milwaukee Education Partnership contract. I helped develop the new audit committee charter to give the board an additional layer of expert oversight, co-sponsored a resolution to pilot free menstrual product program in one of our high schools, authored a resolution to audit the expulsion process, authored budget amendments to support Vincent's agriculture program, and restore college and career center funding for our high schools. I've participated in the hiring for 2 of the district's 3 chief executive officers, our superintendent and board clerk, to help the board build the dream team to move forward during this transition period. As the chair of Legislation, Rules, and Policies Committee, I've led our work to review and update more policies in the last year than the board has likely done in over a decade. I also co-sponsored a resolution developed together with parents to create greater transparency and accountability for the district's work to keep children safe from lead paint in our buildings. If chosen to be the next board president, you have my commitment that I will work collaboratively with the superintendent, board clerk, Office of Accountability and Efficiency Director, especially when it comes to ensuring board meetings are organized in a way that enables us to engage and effectively monitor the district's progress based on our shared board goals. I will be intentional about chair committee selections and prioritize those assignments in a way that aligns with board members' strengths, experiences, interests, and attendance. I will be mindful of the board's budget and board goals before approving any board member travel, be proactive and call special board meetings when critical conversations are necessary to address urgent matters, prioritize professional development opportunities for all members to deepen their understanding of teaching and learning so we can ensure the board is making student-centered and data-driven decisions. As an MPS parent, I've seen firsthand the impact the board can have on students when it works together. The board president cannot act alone to change policies, budget, or approve personnel decisions. The board only acts with legal authority when it votes as a collective, as a whole, to make decisions that impact the district and students. I want to help the board fulfill the promise to every MPS student, the promise that they have the opportunity to attend a school filled with joy, schools with outdoor spaces for kids to run and laugh, schools where students receive individual attention in a comfortable and safe classroom with amazing educators who are supported and respected, schools that keep immigrant and refugee students and families safe, schools that partner with parents and guardians, schools that promote a curriculum that gives students the knowledge and power to question the world in a way that helps uproot the causes of racism, the climate crisis, and economic inequality. The board presidency is not about one person, it's about empowering the board to take action on our shared goals to move the district forward. I can't think of a greater honor than to be considered the next president of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Director Zombor. And now I will ask Director Ferguson. Is Director Ferguson allowed to give his speech, I wonder? I hope so. Are you ready, Director Ferguson?
I'm ready.
Okay, perfect.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. And I begin by offering my sincere appreciation to our board clerk and to our current board president for making room on tonight's agenda for us to engage with one another on our respective platforms and interest in becoming the president or vice president of our great school district. As many of you know, this is the first time that we've had this opportunity to discuss why or what our intentions are behind our desire to serve in the role of presidents. And so I do thank our board clerk and president for making that space possible tonight. I also want to thank my colleagues on the board that have shown up to this organization meeting with an open mind. I cannot express how deeply appreciative I am for your willingness to truly hear from my heart to yours why I am stepping up and asking for your support to become your next president. I'm asking for your support because I believe with all my heart that Milwaukee Public Schools is at a pivotal crossroads. I ran for school board because the district I saw represented in the media was not the district that I grew up in and that I grew to deeply love and appreciate. Stories of severe financial mismanagement, academic outcomes literally the worst in the nation, and a toxic culture that resulted in the deep polarization and mistrust between the board and the very community it was elected to serve was profoundly heartbreaking to me. And we experienced some of that even tonight. I knew I had to step up to help turn things around for the district that literally changed the trajectory of my life. I would not be up here tonight had it not been for the love and support I experienced from K-4 all the way through high school, even in Dr. Tina's class as a freshman at Washington High School. I experienced that from Milwaukee Public Schools. I grew up in a poor family in the deep hood of the 4th District, the same district that I now have the honor of representing. I know the power of this district, as well as its potential to be a major force for good in our community, in our city, and no doubt this entire nation. This is why my greatest charge is to make sure that MPS is around to be that bridge of opportunity for every kid in this city. Nearly 70,000 students attend Milwaukee Public Schools every single day. Most of these students look just like me. I'm running for school board president for them, to be their voice, to be their real advocate, to let them know that there's someone on this board that's genuinely and sincerely fighting for them. My service on the board of directors always has been and always will be about students. I have no greater loyalties than to our students, and no hidden agendas other than an unwavering commitment to their success. As president, I will bring our board and administration together to develop winning strategies for our district, and I'll work to develop relationships and strategic partnerships with other elected leaders, community stakeholders, and business leaders. A strong MPS requires strong partnerships. Our next president needs to be someone that has a demonstrated and documented proficiency for bringing people together and not further polarizing us. I want to let you know one secret. I want to let you in on this secret about me. I'm not asking for your support to become president in order to be at large and in charge. I'm asking for your support because I have spent my entire career bringing diverse groups of people together to tackle and defeat historic challenges and problems that no one thought were winnable. A vote for me is a vote for us. I believe in the power of together, and I believe in us as a community. Today, we have an opportunity to choose new leadership and a new path for our district. Simply put, no offense to anybody, but the old way of doing things has not served any of us particularly well. Our students, our families, our communities, our teachers, our constituents, our taxpayers, our city, all deserve so much better. And tonight, we have an opportunity to put a foot forward to deliver on the better that they deserve. We cannot go another day choosing the status quo over our students and over our families. I said we can't go another day choosing the status quo over our students and our families. We must move forward. And it's springtime. It's our natural opportunity to turn a new leaf on this school board. I sincerely hope my colleagues on the board of school directors will have the conviction and the courage to choose change over complacency and hope over fear. As FDR once said, there is nothing to fear but fear itself. It's okay for us to change, and this district must change, and we must change now. So let's embrace the newness of this moment that we have before us with the onboarding of our new superintendent. In the Office of Board Governance, we have a new director of our Office of Board Governance. And now we have the opportunity to elect a new president. The change that we've seen across the district, it's time for us to see it at the board. The board is the top of Milwaukee Public Schools. Everything starts and stops here. So it doesn't help if we change the superintendent and everybody else, but the board remains the same. It's time for us to embrace the newness of this moment and the opportunity that Providence has presented to all of us to rebuild trust in our community and to restore the great name of Milwaukee Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ferguson. The chair will now ask the secretary to call the roll. When your name is called, please state the name of the member you wish to serve as president. The member with the majority of votes will be designated as board president.
Director Ferguson.
James Ferguson.
Director Fonz.
Director Zombor.
Director Herndon.
Director Zombor.
Director Jackson.
Director Ferguson.
Director O'Halloran.
Director Zombor.
Director Reza.
Director Ferguson.
Director Seamson.
Director Zombor.
Director Vanoy.
Director Zombor.
And Director Zomber.
Director Zombor.
That is 6 votes for Director Zomber and 3 for Director Ferguson.
Apparently, there was one more part. Director Zombor, having received a majority of the votes, the chair declares that you are the duly elected president for the ensuing year. Director Zombor, please take the chair and make a short acceptance speech.
I want to thank my colleagues for your trust in my leadership. We're entering a challenging but hopeful time for MPS. The attacks on public education and the community The attacks on public education and community control are going to increase, and we all must stand together to ensure our students with the greatest needs have the resources and opportunities they deserve. No one person is responsible for the issues the district faces, and no one person is responsible for the solutions. It takes all of us. I will work tirelessly to empower the board to be effective to meet the needs of MPS students. I pledge to lead with integrity, transparency, and an unwavering commitment to the values that unite us all on behalf of our students. Thank you for your trust. The next order of business is the election of a vice president to serve for the ensuing year. Are there any nominations for board vice president? Director O'Halloran.
I nominate Director Herndon.
Are there any other nominations for Board Vice President? Director Jackson?
I nominate Director Ferguson.
Are there any other nominations? Oh, I'm sorry, do you accept?
Yes.
Director Ferguson, do you accept Director Herndon? Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, nominations are now closed. The secretary will please call upon each nominee for a brief statement.
Director Herndon, would you like to make a brief statement as to why you would like to be selected for this role?
Yes, I would, and thank you very much. While it's been an honor for me to serve as MPS Board President for the past 2 years, many wonder why did I step down. I want to share a few things because I tend not to be one that toots my own horn, if you will. Therefore, there's a lot of questions as to why, and I'll share with you several reasons. The biggest one is that first and foremost, I was elected as director of District 1. The 2 years being president took me away from many of the connections and the work that needed to be done in District 1. I miss those connections. My district needs me, and I want to go back to having the time to dedicate to those that I've dedicated so many years to as a resident of District 1 for well over 40 years. Number one, I'd like to tell you about the initiative that I started when I got on the board originally in 2019. I recognized our children living on the north side of the city lacked adequate or none at all art, music, phy-ed, nurses, librarians. As a graduate of MPS myself, from Seaford Elementary through what is now known as School of the Arts, I enjoyed all of those things. And I want our children to have the same experiences that I and my children had in the district. So I worked diligently building a group of stakeholders, and thanks to the teachers that were music teachers and directors throughout this district, they joined forces with me, and we were successful in passing Policy 7.44. And we also were successful with the first referendum. If you're thinking, many people ask questions about the first referendum. It's in our schools. We were able to even hire social workers, counselors, etc. However, that helped initially, but COVID hit. This district has been hit hard over and over again. And it takes all of us to work to try to correct the wrongs that may have been done, and this was one of the huge ones. Then next, we started and were successful with Resolution 2223R-007. What that one is all about is large-scale energy conservation, renewal of energy retrofit for all district-owned buildings. The next one was an audit study advisory committee that was needed so that we could work diligently and efficiently to study past audits, related reporting, making recommendations for possible remedies. Next was very dear to my heart, which was Vincent High School of Agriculture and River Trail Elementary School. This initiative was, number one, to expand the agriculture program of Vincent High School to make it successful and a national model. Number 2 was created with River Trail being designated as a school of agriculture, changing their name, making them a feeder school to Vincent High School. This is critical work as we're working to expand food and dietary knowledge and healthy diets for our students. These are just 4 examples of the work that I was removed from to a degree by being president for 2 years. And I'm saying I want to go back and finish what I started. So I am willing to be considered for vice president, as the duties of vice president would be stepping in the absence of the president's availability, not taking over the role that I served in for the past 2 years, making time to do the projects, finish the projects that will serve the entire district of Milwaukee Public Schools. As we move through this transition period, experience and commitment to our students is very important. Those that know me know that I spent many years fighting for the success of our students, and I haven't stopped yet. We have known each other, we meaning Director Zomber, and have worked together and made a strong team for many years. We have a deep level of trust and understanding and respect one another, which also helps to provide a healthy board dynamic. Most of all, we are committed unwaveringly to the public schools and especially the success of Milwaukee Public Schools, and we face great challenges moving forward. I understand that, but I also am committed to doing whatever it takes to make MPS successful for our students, and I look forward to that challenge. And it would be appreciative for me to have Director Zomber helping out in that respect. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my husband for putting up with this for all these many years and never saying that I needed to step down. Although I know he's really weary right now, but I'm praying that if I'm successful at being vice president, that will reduce some of that time. And thank you so much.
Director Ferguson, would you like to make any more remarks?
Sure. Thank you, Madam President. I would just say, in addition to what I've already stated, I think we as a board, we really have to look at ourselves. We have to look at what lies ahead of us, and we have to put the right people in the right places. And by that, I mean, we have to make sure that as a board that we're leveraging all of the resources that we have at the table. And another thing that I think is absolutely important for us to consider is the fact that a little over half of that 70,000 students that I spoke of earlier in the district, a little over half of them are African American and Hispanic males. I think the board's leadership needs diversity. There needs to be a representative for them at the top of the board as well. And so if we are going to say that we are people that are committed to equity and inclusion, then I think this is an opportunity for us to show how sincere we are about that, knowing that half of our district are African American and Hispanic males, and not taking that into consideration when it comes to selecting our board leadership, I think is irresponsible, and I also feel is somewhat hypocritical. So I'm just asking that our board would consider diversifying our leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ferguson. The chair will now ask the secretary to call the roll. When your name is called, please state the name of the member who you wish to serve as vice president. The member with the majority of votes will be designated as vice president.
Director Ferguson.
Director Ferguson.
Director Fonz.
Director Herndon?
Director Herndon.
Director Herndon.
Director Jackson.
Director Ferguson.
Director O'Halloran.
Director Herndon.
Director Reza.
Director Ferguson.
Director Seamson.
Director Herndon.
Director Vanoy.
Director Herndon.
Director Zomber.
Director Herndon.
That is 7 votes for Director Herndon and 6 votes for Director Herndon and 3 for Director Ferguson.
Director Herndon, having received a majority of the votes, the chair declares her the duly elected vice president for the ensuing year. Director Herndon, would you like to make any brief remarks?
What can I say? I'm a little emotional because the students are primary in my heart, and all the work that I've done and the sacrifices that my family has made for me to do this. So I appreciate the vote, and thank you all so much.
Thank you, Vice President Herndon. Madam Secretary, what is the next item of business?
The next order of business is the designation of a board clerk. Wisconsin statutes, section 119.10, requires that the board annually designate a board clerk. On April 17, 2025, the board renewed its contract with Dr. Tina Owen Moore to serve as board clerk.
If there are no objections, Dr. Tina Owen Moore will continue to serve as the board clerk. At this time, it is necessary to appoint board members to various boards and committees on which the Milwaukee Board of School Directors is represented. Madam Secretary, what is the first appointment?
The first appointment is to the Milwaukee Public Library Board of Trustees. Under Wisconsin statutes, section 43.54, parent 1, parent AM, the president is an ex officio member of the library board. However, if the president elects not to serve, Board Rule 1.17, parent 7, provides that the board shall elect a member to serve at its next regular meeting. Would you like to serve? This is your opportunity to announce whether you would like
I
to serve.
would not like to serve on the library board at this time.
All right, then we will select a representative at the next regular meeting.
Okay. Yeah, because a roll call vote is not required. Madam Secretary, what is the next appointment?
The next appointment is the delegate to the Wisconsin Association of School Boards. As a nonprofit organization, the WASB seeks to advance education through supporting the tradition of local school board control of the state's public schools. In 2023, the board elected Director Garcia to serve as the delegate until WASB publishes a notice of an upcoming election. Director Garcia, having retired from the board, it is necessary for the board to choose a delegate to serve the remainder of the term.
Very well. Are there any nominations? Director Reza?
I would like to nominate myself, Mimi Reza.
Okay. And are there any other nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate myself, Director Fonz.
Director Fonz, thank you. Are there any other nominations for the Wisconsin Association of School Boards, WASB? Okay, nominations are now closed. The secretary will please call upon each nominee if you wish to make a statement. Do we not want to make a statement?
Director Reza,
It's
would
up
like
to you, sorry.
Director Hans?
Okay,
No, see.
okay. Then the chair will now ask the secretary to call the roll. When your name is called, please state the name of the member who you wish to serve as delegate to WASB.
Director Ferguson.
Director Reza.
Director Fons.
Director Fons.
Director Herndon.
Director Funds.
Director Jackson.
Director Reza.
Director O'Halloran.
Director Fons.
Director Reza. Director Seamson.
Director Funds.
Director Vanoy.
Director Reza?
Director Zomber.
Director Fons.
That is 5 votes for Director Fons and 4 for Director Reza.
Madam Secretary, what is the next appointment?
The next appointment is to CISA Number 1, Wisconsin Statutes, Section 116.02, Parent 1, Parent A, provides that annually, on or after the 4th Monday in April, the school board of each district in the agency shall appoint one of its members as its representative for the purpose of determining the composition of the Board of Control. We need some nominations.
Would anyone like to nominate a board member?
I'll go for that one.
Director Vanoy, you
Yeah.
would nominate yourself?
Yes.
Okay, Director Vanoy nominates herself. Would anyone else like to nominate a board member for CISA Number 1, Board of Controls? No? Okay. Nominations are now closed. The secretary will please call upon each, would you like to make a statement about why you would like to serve on CISA? No, thank you. Okay. Then the chair will now ask the secretary to call the roll. When your name is called, please state the name of the member you wish to serve as delegate to CISA Number 1.
Director Ferguson.
Director Kate.
Director Fons. It was Director Vanoy that nominates. There's only one nominee. So we're, Director Herndon.
Director Vanoy.
Director Jackson.
Director Vanoy.
Director O'Halloran.
Director Vanoy.
Director Reza.
Director Vanoy.
Director Seamson.
Director Vanoy.
Director Vanoy.
Director Benoit.
And Director Zomber.
Director Vanoy.
That's 9 votes. Congratulations. The next appointment is the Title I District Advisory Council.
Are there any nominations for the liaison to the DAC, the District Advisory Council? Director Jackson.
Director Ferguson.
Are there any other nominations? May I pass the gavel, please? I'd like to nominate Director Reza. Would you accept the nomination?
You accept it? Okay. With that, are there any more volunteers? I'm passing the gavel.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for the liaison to the District Advisory Council? No? Okay, nominations are now closed. The secretary will please call upon each nominee for their statement if you wish to make one.
Director Ferguson, would you like to make a statement about your?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to ask if you wanted to accept. I'm sorry.
And Director Reza, would you like to make a statement? No.
Okay. The chair will now ask the secretary to call the roll. When your name is called, please state the name of the member who you wish to serve as a delegate to the District Advisory Council.
Director Ferguson.
Director Reza.
Director Fons.
Director Ferguson.
Director Herndon.
Director Ferguson.
Director Jackson.
Director Reza.
Director O'Halloran.
Director Reza.
Director Reza.
Director Reza.
Director Seamson.
Director Reza.
Director Vanoy.
Director Reza?
Director Zomber.
Director Reza.
That's 7 votes for Director Reza. Congratulations.
Madam Secretary, are there any other items of regular business?
Yes, there are 2 items of regular business. Item 1 is transmittal of and possible action on the tentative 2025-2026 board calendar. The tentative calendar of the meetings of the board and its committees for the 2025-26 board year is included in the attachment. The calendar has been prepared in accordance with Wisconsin statutes, Section 119.10, and Board Rules 1.01, 1.02, and 2.02. The recommendation is that the board waive Board Rules 1.01 and 1.02 and 2.02 and determine what action, if any, it wishes to take regarding the tentative 2025-2026 board calendars.
What is the pleasure of the board with respect to this item? Director Seamson?
I'm not sure if I'm going to get this right, but I move that we, what is the word I'm looking for?
Adopt?
To waive, that we waive, correct? Because we have to waive those first. Okay, that we waive Board Rule 1.1, 1.2, and 2.2 to consider the tentative calendar
And-
for the 2025-2026 school year.
And are you hoping to adopt the tentative calendar as presented?
And I am hoping to adopt the tentative calendar as presented.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion?
We need a second.
Director O'Halloran?
I second.
Will the secretary please call the roll?
On Director Seamson's motion to waive Board Rules 1.01, 1.02, and 2.02 and adopt the tentative calendar as presented, Director Ferguson,
Aye.
Director Franz,
Present?
No, yes or no?
you can vote present. Director Herndon,
Aye.
Director Jackson,
No.
Director O'Halloran,
Aye.
Director Reza,
Aye.
Director Seamson,
Aye.
Director Vanoy,
Aye.
Director Zomber.
Aye.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ayes, 1 present, and 1 no. The motion passes.
Madam Secretary, what is the next item of new business?
Item 2 is annual review of and action on board compensation. At its meeting on November 28, 2000, the board directed that the board's compensation be reviewed annually at the organizational meeting. Currently, the board compensation is $20,490 for board members and $21,107 for the board president. The recommendation is that the board determine how it wishes to proceed with the review.
What is the pleasure of the board with respect to this item? Director O'Halloran?
I move that we defer this until we have the budget discussion in June.
Is there any discussion? Is there a second?
We need a second on that?
Sorry, is there a second?
Second.
Director Herndon? Seconds. Is there any discussion? Okay. Will the secretary please call the roll?
On Director O'Halloran's motion to defer this item until June, after budgets have been discussed. Do you want it after the budgets? I just want to clarify.
Did we do it last time at the July meeting?
Yeah, at
Okay,
June.
we can do it at the July board meeting once we have seen what the budget
the
looks
budget
like.
lands.
Thanks.
Thank you for the clarification. On Director O'Halloran's motion to defer this item until July after the budget discussions have taken place, Director Ferguson,
Aye.
Director Franz,
Aye.
Director Herndon. Director Herndon,
Aye.
Director Jackson, Director O'Halloran,
Aye.
Director Reza,
Aye.
Director Seamson,
Aye.
Director Vanoy,
Aye.
Director Zomber.
Aye.
That's 9 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, is there any unfinished business?
There is one item of unfinished business. Item 1 is action on the disposition of unfinished business pending before the board and its committees at the close of business on April 17th, 2025. The attachment to this item includes a listing of the unfinished business pending before the board and its standing and special committees. This list is presented pursuant to the provisions of Wisconsin statutes, Section 119.10, Parent 1, which reads in part, "At its annual meeting after the election of the new board president, the clerk of the board shall report to the board items of business pending before the board. Items from the attached list that are set aside will be referred back to the appropriate committee as pending items of business. Items that are no longer urgent do not need to be set aside. Those items not set aside will be placed on file."
Do members wish to set any of the pending items on the attached list aside? If so, please state the number of each item you wish to hold over. Madam Secretary, do I call, does anyone
Please.
wish?
Go ahead. It could be a motion to be placed on file, these items. These are automatically. So then we need no action, right? All right.
They need a motion to.
Do any members wish to set aside any of the pending items on the attached list? If so, please state the
Okay.
number of the item you wish to hold. Director O'Halloran.
I would like to bring forward, under Parent and Community Engagement, there was 2425R-010, establish Operational Review Advisory Committee. And I would like to bring forward into this cycle 2324R-006. And under LRP 2223R-001.
Do any other members wish to set items aside? Director Steamson, you look like you might want to.
Yes, so I would like to, on the list, keep Resolution 1920R-013. And
Yes, Director O'Halloran.
Thank you. Under AFP, we had November AFP item 7 on professional service contracts, C033214 and C033215, services for violence reduction. Can anybody state what those are? I was just curious which those two contracts are. And if we don't know that off the top of our head, I would just like to hold it over as an item for discussion in the upcoming year.
Madam Chair, members, those were the two contracts related to violence reduction programs within the schools.
This is like VFC and...
That whole, from that whole conversation,
Okay,
yes.
yeah. Okay, let's hold that one over too, please.
We're not holding over. Do any other board members wish to hold any items? Does anyone have a question about what we're doing? Okay. Actually, I do have a question. The building lease resolution 2324R, so that will be carried over. Do we have, no.
Yeah, that.
That's the other one. Professional services contracts is the one I think Director O'Halloran was asking about. I just want to make sure we're keeping the building lease on the list. Okay.
Then you would need to set that one aside.
Okay. I would like to set resolution 2324R-003 aside. Director Steamson.
Could you just go through the list of ones that have been set aside to this point, just for clarity? Thank you.
We have item 2425R-001, O'Halloran set aside. 2324R-006, so the first one was youth engagement, the second one was menstrual equity. 2223R, making sure I read these, -001 on youth engagement. I have that written twice. 1920R-013 on elementary classroom sizes. And C033214 and C033215 on professional services contracts. And 1920R- yeah, I mentioned that one, 1920R-013 on elementary classroom sizes, and 2324R-003 on building leases.
So to clarify then, is the only one that's not held over the Chromebook?
Yep.
Okay.
The monthly. And the first one, the Resolution 1920R-007.
Okay, so would anyone, just last chance, would anyone like to hold either of the first two on the list regarding the contribution retiree health benefit or the Chromebook? Okay. The items will be referred back to the committees indicated. The chair will now entertain a motion to place the balance of the items on file.
We need a motion.
Director O'Halloran?
I move to put the balance of the items on file.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Herndon. Will the secretary please call the roll?
On Director O'Halloran's motion to place the balance of items of unfinished business on file, Director Ferguson,
Aye.
Director Fonz,
Aye.
Director Herndon,
Aye.
Director Jackson, Director O'Halloran,
Aye.
Director Reza,
Aye.
Director Seamson,
Aye.
Director Vanoy,
Aye.
Director Zomber.
Aye.
That's 9 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, are there any communications or petitions for referral to committee?
We have one communication for referral, Communication 2526C-001 on Milwaukee Italian Immersion School has been introduced for referral.
That communication will be referred to the Office of Board Governance. Madam Secretary, are there any resolutions for referral to committee?
We have one resolution for referral, Resolution 2526R-001 on lead safety has been introduced by Director Zomber and O'Halloran.
That committee will be referred to the Committee on Accountability, Finance, and Personnel. Madam Secretary, is there any other business on our agenda?
That was the last item on our agenda.
That there being no further business before the board, this meeting is adjourned.